So for the next part, I've changed accounts. Now I'm on my North American account, where I have some more tanks and I'm able to show you a little bit more. Yeah, let's start with talking about which skills and perks are good for specific types of tanks. All these ideas are mine own. It came from my experience playing. And of course, there are guys that probably gonna do it differently because there are so many ways of doing it, and that's one of the reasons why it's so interesting, because different combination of perks and skills will give you will enhance different will enhance your tanks in a different way and make them well, in a way, unique. Light tanks. I think this type of tanks is the easiest to describe. Not by far, not the easiest to play, but they are lightly armored. They are very fast. They have very good view range, and I said they have very good camouflage. So yeah, what can you do with that? As a scout, generally there are two ways of approaching a problem for which perks and skills to use. You either maximize the advantages of your vehicle, or you try to minimize the disadvantages. So scouts generally, as I said, they have very fast, very good camouflage, and very good view range. But on the other hand, they are poorly armored, and the guns are not very hard hitting. In my opinion, and many other players too, vision is the most important thing in this game. Vision control. The earlier you can see the enemy, and the longer you remain unspotted, the better for you, the better for your team, and well, the longer you stay alive, basically. That's why I recommend always use camouflage as first set of your skills for scout tanks. After that, Sixth Sense, I would recommend retraining when you reach 100% on the commander. I would recommend retraining to Sixth Sense, because there can always be a bigger fish, so there can always be a better scout. They can outspot you, and you really have to know that you're spotted, because the moment you're lit, well, then you basically die. Because the enemy has tendency to shoot lightly armored targets over heavy armored targets, because as a scout you basically are guaranteed penetration. And after that, it's up to you. You can either use, as I did for example this one, 4071, go for gunnery skills. So increase the ability to shoot on the move, and yeah, shoot on the move and shoot while the turret is rotating. Or I don't know, use repairs, for example. I don't use repairs. I use repair kit only. Repair skills, in my opinion, the moment you get lit and you get tracked, you will not be able to sit and wait for like even 6 or 7 seconds or 5 for the tracks to repair. You're gonna die. You have to use the repair kit and you have to run away. And in my opinion, that's you have only one chance of getting out of this kind of situation. Maybe 2 if you have both a small repair kit and a large repair kit. Otherwise, I prefer to rely on the fact that I'm fast and I'm invisible, not that I managed to repair tracks or gun or something. In this case, you see that I have brothers in arms, or in this rather, I should say, sisterhood of steel, because it's just because the female crew members get me that, and I would not choose brothers in arms or brothers in arms as a first set of skills. You lose too much time, and they are not useful as much as you need them. You need the camouflage to be. So yeah, that's my idea how the light tank scouts should run. Next come the mediums. From the don't have that many mediums, but from the gameplay I've seen and from my own experience, you can also go different ways, and this also is even more tank dependent. Depending on it depends on the armor, depends on the mobility, depends how you want to play the tank. If the tank is well armored, then you can go a little bit closer and use your brawling skills and the armor to be able to take more shots, but also deliver more shots and to be closer to the enemy. In that case, you might go for gunnery skills and then repairs. Otherwise, in most of the cases for the mediums, I opt for the gunnery skills and then camouflage, because, as I said before, remaining unspotted is the key, for me at least. So 6 cents for the first one, and then as I've chosen here, snapshot and smooth ride. It is always nice to have situational awareness. This is actually one of the, if not the only useful skill for the radio operator. It increases your view range by 3%, I believe, and if you combine that with commander skill that is called recon, it increases the view range by 2%. So altogether, if you get both of them trained to 100%, you'll get plus 5% to your view range. So that's very useful. The loader repairs, that's always good to have. That's probably going to be the third skill I'm going to choose on this one and on a few others, I guess. And yeah, ammo rack. If you're going close up and personal with the enemy, it can happen and you get ammo racked, and you wanna keep your gun singing, so you wanna keep your ammo rack as strong as possible. So it doesn't get damaged and your load time doesn't get too long. By the way, if you get your ammo rack destroyed, you're gonna explode in a big fire flame. Big boom. If your ammo rack is gonna get damaged, your reload time is gonna be twice, 50% longer. Not twice, but 50% longer. That's the meds, I think. Yeah. So summing up, similar as light tanks, 6 cents and gunner skills. Then, as you choose, either camouflage or repairs. You might actually go with repairs, I don't know. Personal. On most of the tanks, I think, on mediums I go with camouflage. I prefer, as I said, I prefer visibility control over damage control. If you don't get seen, you can't be shot. That's my idea. Yeah, and after that it's whatever you please. Next, heavy tanks. Heavy tanks are the brawling power of this game. They are supposed to have a good armor, they're supposed to go up and front, and they're supposed to take the beating and give a beating. That's why I always recommend to get repairs first. In some cases you can go as in this one. You get the Holy Trinity of Survival. That is the 6th sense, so you know to be seen. That's the preventive maintenance, not to get your engine on fire, and that's the safe store, not more hit points for your ammo rack, and the rest is gonna be repairs. Then when you get the first set of skills perks, then you move the second and you choose the repairs. Then you choose your first gunner skill, the snapshot, more repairs, vision control, and more repairs. That I think is a very nice way of setting up. When you go to the third one, you choose something else. Either probably not camouflage, but on the third skill I would go. Then I would consider retraining and using the brothers in arms for a whole crew. That will give you even more points for the percent for the major qualification, and your crew will be even more skilled and faster. Will reload faster. We see enemy from a larger distance and will aim faster and so on. Yeah, as you can see, it's similar. Just after retraining the crew, I rearranged the skills a little bit. I chose Sixth Sense, repairs, then brothers in arms. I chose safe storage, and then I continue with repairs. And I've chosen the situational awareness because heavy tanks have a tendency to be a bit blind. And I continue with gunner skills also. So there is like balancing. What is better, to have preventing maintenance or full, or repairs full? So what's it's a more question of what's going to happen often, if you're going to get tracked or you're going to get your engine on fire. Well, I don't know. I have tendency to face front towards the enemy, so the chance that I'm gonna get hit in the engine, it's quite low. That's why I prefer to have as much repairs as possible. Yeah, I think of course everything depends on the tank, because for example, if you take French heavies, well, for example AMX 5100, this tank is not very well armored, so you're not gonna be up front and brawling. On the other side, this tank, this is an auto loader, so I want to have the gun control, as good gun control as possible. That's why I'm running vertical stabilizer and enhanced gunline drive. So I added, on top of that, I added the snapshot and smooth ride to get the aim time even more down. I'm not using repairs. I don't like getting hit in this tank because it's a little bit like light tank. This thing has practically no armor, like 30. Most of the high explosive rounds can penetrate you. If they do, you're doomed. So I'm planning to get even more skill. I'm trying right now. I'm training brothers in arms. That is not a very good idea. You should not do that. You should have something else that is used all the time. For example, camouflage or even repairs in this case. And when you get to 100%, then you change. Choosing brothers in arms as a second skill basically takes away a possibility of using anything else that can be useful, and makes the grind makes the grind through the second skill even more difficult, because basically, even though it's on 97 or 94%, this is useless. This does not do anything at the moment. Doesn't give me any benefit. Does not increase the performance of the vehicle, and it's gonna be like that till for several more games till I get everything into 100%. So that's why it's you should not use brothers in arms to choose as a skill, or sorry, to choose as a perk to grind. You should have it. You should have your setup already ready, and then you should retrain to get brothers in arm operational immediately after retraining. But that's my opinion. But I'm sure plenty of people would agree with that. Yeah, as you see, I vary the setup, but more or less the same for all the heavies. Sixth sense and gunnery, preventive gunnery skills be the same. Preventive maintenance for the drivers. M103 has two loaders, so I took safe storage on one and then took repairs on the other, and then I'm gonna choose adrenaline rush for the second loader. Adrenaline Rush increase reload time by 10% when the amount of vehicles is less than 10. Amount of hit point on your of your vehicle is less than 10%. So can do some difference, especially if the vehicle has lots of hit points. So like in tier 9, tier 10 tanks. Yeah, so rule of thumb, heavies are brawlers, so you want to have repairs, you want to have all the survival skills and perks that are possible to keep them alive and fighting. Lightly armored heavies, invest in gunnery skills or camouflage to keep hidden and keep them fighting. Tank destroyers are those hated by few vehicles that are supposed to camp in the back and shoot everything that moves, or anything that can be spotted and is in range of fire. That's why for the tanks I recommend the camouflage. That's I think the best way to go. Then to increase the visibility, the view range as much as possible. And for some turretless tank destroyers, like for example Ferdinand, I would also recommend clutch braking. It's gonna be the same, for example, for the Russian SU, because they are pretty slow and they can be circled very easily. So to lower chance that the medium tank, because you will not be able to outmaneuver a light tank, the lower chance that the medium tank goes around you, it is always good to have this clutch braking skill. It's not a perk, so it's gonna be active the very moment you start training. And after that, it's whatever you like. I guess Deadeye is a good thing to have. It increases the chance of damaging modules, but that's only when you use armor piercing, APCR, and heat shells. Not with high explosive, doesn't work with high explosive. Repairs, also good. Safe storage, useful, for example, for TDs that are very soft, like this one, like Waffen auf E100 or Ramaton Bolzik. I don't have safe storage. This is bad. I should have. But as before, camouflage, even more camouflage. You want to be invisible. The last one is hated SPGs. By some, by few, by many, I don't know. Surf repair guns are usually in the back. They shooting over large distance and should remain unspotted. If you are spotted, everyone wants to shoot artillery. If an enemy has a scout that will manage to break through lines and starts hunting you, it is always good to have both camouflage net and camouflage skills, so you're as invisible as possible. Of course, when the commander has first skill on 100%, it is always good to retrain it to sixth sense, so you actually know when you're spotted. It is difficult. Some scouts are well trained scouts, some others are not so good. So it's always good to know when you actually have to move. A good practice for an artillery player is to move after each shot, but if scouts goes at you and you're behind a bush, you don't know whether you're spotted or not. So you don't know whether you have to move or not. So sixth sense is always nice. After that, actually as a second skill, I would recommend Brothers in Arms. In this case, I go for the first one, because artillery has a very long reload time, very long aim time, and you wanna get down with those numbers as much as possible. If you have turreted artillery, as I don't, it is always good to have the third skill set for example, snapshot. If the artillery has a turret, of course, smooth right is also good to have if you really have to move and shoot. Clutch break-in, it is also good if you're starting to get ambushed by a light tank and you need to move and circle, and you're getting circled, so it increases your chance of survival slightly, not much, but yeah, everything is good. Yeah, and that's it. I think we covered all the vehicle types. I did not go through all the skills and perks. I can do that actually. I can see if I missed anything useful. We talked about repairs and Brothers in Arms. Just to recap, repairs is good for heavy tanks. That's going to be up and forward. It is also good, what I did not mention, it is also good for slow tanks, because you're gonna get hit by artillery quite often. You're gonna get hit by other tanks, probably tracked, and getting the tracks up and operational is very important for you. And this is gonna be like British heavy tanks, all the Churchills, all the Black Prince, for example, the British tank destroyers, 87, 8015, all that things. They are very slow, very big, and they don't have any turrets, so rotation and movement is very important for them. Firefighting, this skill is not as important. It will not prevent the fire to start, it will just increase the speed of putting fire down. If you're using automatic fire extinguisher, this skill does not work. It's not used at all. If you get shot twice and you already have used the automatic fire extinguisher, then this is useful, but this happens very rarely. Brothers in Arms, as I said before, not very useful to train as a first or even second skill, maybe third, maybe fourth, depends how far you go. And do not train it from zero. Get to 100% on the third or fourth skill and retrain everything, so you have it operational and ready to go immediately. Mentor, I guess useful, but sixth sense for a commander is more important. Recon, very important, but not as sixth sense or camouflage. So for example, scouts as a third skill is a yes. Jack of all trades can be used on, for example, heavy tanks or slow tanks when you can be hit by artillery often, and when you get your crews knocked out often. But still, yeah, it's gonna increase the performance of a crew member that's knocked out but not much. So just carry a medkit, it should work also, or even better. Eagle Eye, I actually have not used that one yet. It gives you information about damage modules. I guess you can use it together with Gunner Deadeye skills, so you can focus on the damage modules and basically keep the tank track or aim for the damage modules if you know where they are. Sixth Sense, I said, very important for all of them. In this case, Commander has also function of radio operator. So yeah, situational awareness, very good skill. For Scout, same as recon. For other tanks, yes, as a second or third skill, depending on the vehicle type. I'm not using all the rest. The relaying is not really that important. It's maybe useful in early stages, early tiers, when the radio range is not that big, so you can help your friends, your teammates see enemy and draw them on the map. But otherwise, I have not used any of those skills. Gunner. Deadeye, as I said before, useful for TDs, for example, that using AP, APCR or heat ammo. In armor, good for heavy tanks, brawling tanks, sometimes, because it will increase the accuracy of a damaged gun. If you're up and personal, maybe the accuracy is not that important, because you should be able to aim anyway and hit. Of course, if you have to aim for weak spots, this can be a problem. So yeah, good skill. Deadeye, that's I talked about. Snapshot improves accuracy of, during the third rotation. Good for light tanks and fast mediums. Always when you want to shoot on the move, if this is your playstyle, it's a very good skill to have. Loaders, yeah, these loaders are very problematic. The only loader skill that is actually useful is the safe stowage. I have never seen this function to have any impact on any gameplay I've seen. Adrenaline rush, yes, as I've shown you, I've started training this skill on one of my tanks, and we'll see how it goes. I've never actually had to use it. Maybe I have it on another heavy tank, I'm not sure. No, I don't. Never mind. Yeah, I guess we can try it. So yeah, I think we went through everything as far as the skills are concerned. When it comes to training the crew, it is, as I said, it is one of the two things that is time consuming in this game, and there are ways of doing that faster. Lately, Wargaming has introduced a personal reserves option, where you can choose to activate personal reserve that will increase the crew experience per battle. You can have it by 200%, by 100%, and on different time, this will be 2 hours or 1 hour. That will considerably increase the amount of experience you will get and increase the training. Another way is getting one of the premium vehicles in the game. All the items, all the equipment is already researched, and you will get more experience per battle, and all the experience will go to crew training. As I said before, these premium tanks automatically have the function of accelerate to crew training, so you can start right away. Another way of doing it is basically transferring the crews between tanks, between premium tanks and normal tanks. So here you see I have the crew from VK4502. So it's from this tank. Each day you have a daily double. So that's first victory counts. For the first victory you get twice the experience. If you do that on one tank and then move crew to a premium tank of the same type, then you get the experience times 2, twice. And this will increase the speed of training. the important thing to know about the premium tanks is that you can, without any penalty, you can transfer the same nationality and the same tank type. So for example, if I have Löwe, it's a German heavy tank. In this tank I can run any heavy tank crew from a German tree without any penalty. Yeah, I can move, for example, from an E75 into Löwe, and it will work perfectly fine too. That's one of the advantages of having a premium tank. If you get like low tier premiums from Wargaming as a gift or as a prize of when you win, you complete some kind of mission. So for example, we see now, let's see, okay, tier 2 type 97, it is the disadvantage is that you can only have 2 crew members here, but still it will increase the training on those 2 crew members. Same with BT7 Russian BT7 artillery. Sorry, BT7 artillery, but it's basically a light tank. You can train 3 crew members on this tank and work daily double one more time. It's if you have like several light tanks. Recently I got the LTP, another Russian light tank. So basically, if I have crew of 3 from T54 lightweight, I can do run the T54 lightweight, then I can run BT7 artillery piece, and then I can run the LTP. So I have triple daily doubles. This will considerably increase the speed of training. So it's sometimes it's good to keep the tanks if you like it, and if you like the premium tanks that you get, then fine. If you don't, you can. Some of the guys say that these are basically free garage slots. So if you get a premium tank that is not so good, you can sell it and you get a free garage slot. There are not so many of them, and it's always nice to have more. One more advantage with premium tank is that you can mix tank crews. You can train different. You can train different crew members from different tanks. So I can have like four crew from VK and 1 from E75. I can do what the heck I would like to. I can train those crew members that are not that experienced and speed them up so they are the same level as the others. That's one of many advantages of premium tanks. Yeah, I think we basically covered everything as far as the crew is concerned. Next step, we're gonna take a look at where to go from tier 1. We managed to unlock some more vehicles, but there are so many. We have limited resources, we have limited garage slots. Which path to take to be the least painful one? That's what we're gonna look at in the next episode. Thanks for watching, and see you around.